I think that we are a city, we are a community that knows how to work with their hands. We are, I think the Indiana motto is a state that works, and we are a city that does just that. We know how to use our hands. It's kind of ingrained in us how to make things. It's what we do. It's kind of, I think about quilts and quilting, and I think about manufacturing, and as human beings, we are just kind of, we are creators. That's what we are, just by birth. And in trying to define artists, I think that I have seen a number of ways I've tackled that in a number of ways in trying to define who we are as artists, who you are as an artist, and in trying to take those definitions and listen to the artists define themselves. But meanwhile, thinking about technology, I have to bring it back to technology, I always do, but thinking in the way other people are searching and what their terminology might be. So we try to allow, I'm speaking directly to the database that's been created on the Goshen City website. It's under the domain name thelocalgoshen.com. And you can find it through goshenindiana.org/MAC. But in trying to define and create a search engine that works, and that it works for different people using search engines the way that they do, trying to define a clay artist and think of all the different ways that others might define you, whether you would take it or leave it, but kind of trying to pinpoint what those pieces are, and it's been a challenge. And yeah, you have to think about it from a fine arts perspective. Who's using this database? Who's using the material? And
I'm really happy that you're working on that, because over the years I haven't gotten much energy from what was kind of an argument, especially in the early '90s, maybe through the '90s.
It can be a heated topic,
yeah.
I know.
Clay artists felt like they weren't included in the arts, and that they were relegated to artisanship or craft. And I think for some in the clay community, they wanted desperately to be called artists, and by the big galleries and the big name collectors to be included in the museums and the galleries. I didn't spend very much time on that until I discovered there was just no energy in it for me, and so I decided I would just do what I wanted to do. And I ended up doing, I suppose, what someone looking in from the outside would say was both. I mean, when I worked at the old bag factory, we had a production line of 100 different things using 12 different glazes. Now that's kind of a definition of craftsmanship. But I also spent at least 15% of my time working on things that were developmental, experimental, and had no real assurance that they would succeed. New firing methods, new clay bodies, new kiln designs. And what I tried to do, I wrote an article early on about a sabbatical mentality, and what I tried to do was bring a sabbatical mentality to my work. Every year I tried to, in the 85% of my time doing production, I tried to generate enough income for myself and others in the studio that we could spend the other 15% of our time exploring and developing. And if that 15% didn't produce anything that was saleable, I was still breaking even. And so it took the pressure of marketing off that time and allowed me to be very experimental and try a whole range of things. And I think probably some folks would call me a clay artist, probably based on those things. But I've just tried to make what interests me, and I'm happy to let someone else worry about the classifications and designation. I guess the closest I've come to having to deal with that is the keywords on my website,